Hello everybody, this is a Lamley showcase. This white box arrived a couple of days ago from Mattel. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen what is inside here, but there's been a lot of questions, a lot of comments, a lot of opinions about what they sent. So I thought I would do a video about this because frankly, I know some things, I don't know a lot of things, and I want to walk through this very mysterious box that Mattel sent to me. So we're going to do it. It's a collaboration. That's what I know. I brought some other things. You can see the Supreme Team Transport set. I've got some other exclusives here. So I always like to make these videos worthwhile by showing some other things that are somewhat related, but we're going to talk about this and see where it goes. This is what was in. There was a box. This was inside of it. There was nothing around it. I got an email that said something is coming. That was all it was said in the email. I said, okay. And this is what arrived. So I opened it and this is what was there. And outside of it being wrapped in some kind of greenish yellow paper, which you will see in the Instagram short, and I'll post it on YouTube as well, the YouTube short later. But this is what was inside. And this is what I pulled out. And now, the thing about this, which is kind of cool, is that the video I sent, and I know I'm talking about a short a lot, you know, essentially an Instagram Reels, a TikTok, a YouTube short, is that I opened it on camera. Didn't make any comments about it. I just opened it and then cut it, edited it up for a short, and then posted it. And what you see is what I know. Now, here's what I do know. Moncler, Mattel Creations. Mattel Creations presents Moncler. If you're not familiar with Moncler, Moncler is a luxury fashion house known for their puffer jackets. That's at least what I think of when I think of Moncler. And based on the fact that I saw this logo on the box, it instantly took me, and I was pretty sure I think I know what I'm looking at because there's a Mercedes logo and Moncler. All over my Instagram feed over the last week or so has been the unveiling of the Mercedes Moncler Nego collaboration G-Wagon. And I was like, could it be that Hot Wheels did a version of the G-Wagon? And this is what we have in this big box. And I was right. But there's still more to this that made it kind of interesting. So let me just show you. This is, look at this. I mean, there's nothing here on the box outside of the logo at the front. And cool magnetic seal. And then this is all that was there. I'll try and show you. This is what was here. This is what I opened. All this foam with a car in the middle. And then this little bit of information. So we'll start with the information. I'll show you. This box is really cool. It does have this magnetic seal. I'll show it to you again. I'll show you what it says here. I mean, I can read it real quickly. I don't think I need to read it all, but it says, I'll just read the first part. Preparation, Hot Wheels logo obviously up top. In preparation for this year's Mercedes-Benz Project G-Class Past to Future, please enjoy the playful gift from Mattel Creations. We collaborated with Mercedes-Benz, Moncler, and Nego to create this bespoke Hot Wheels. Bespoke, if you're not familiar. Bespoke means custom or handmade. Hot Wheels tribute. It's a miniature token, literally, of our appreciation of your fandom, as well as a sneak peek of the Nego designed art piece. To celebrate the partnership between Mercedes-Benz, Moncler, and Nego for Moncler Genius, the skilled artisans at Mattel Creations meticulously crafted every prototype. That's another key word, prototype. So bespoke, prototype, in this extremely limited series to capture the essence and exquisite details of this vehicle in miniature. We encourage you to create content with this Hot Wheels prototype, kabla, kabla, kabla. So, here's what I know about this, and then I'll actually open it up. It is a miniature version of the Nego designed Moncler Mercedes G-Wagon. If you've seen it, and I would invite you to see it, maybe I'll have some footage up here as I talk about it. It is a very cool custom designed G-Wagon, old G-Wagon actually, and I think Mercedes is actually creating a current G-Wagon under the same design, but this one-of-one G-Wagon actually has a Moncler puffer cover and it has, you know, particular designs in the seats and everything else. And yes, and then it was presented and actually showcased at the Genius Week or Week of Genius event in Shanghai. And if you saw that, like A$AP Rocky was there, Rick Owens was there. There was a bunch of people, a bunch of designers there, and of course Mercedes, Moncler, and Nigo. Moncler put it on, and Nigo was there, showcasing this Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. So that's the information, and this was obviously sent out, I would assume, to a few other quote-unquote influencers, maybe some people beyond. Maybe it was a gift at the event. I haven't seen any other footage of this. I'm sure some of it will pop up, but let me pull this out. Because the other thing about this, and this is where I think there was some confusion as well, is that this is a prototype. It is a 3D print. There is nothing on the bottom. The base, which is not metal, nothing's metal here, it's all 3D printed, is screwed to the interior, which is screwed to the top. And there are all these little details, including the what is replicated, this puffer piece. And then these pieces, I think, have been essentially, you know, riveted from the bottom, but then glued on, most likely. I can show you the details. And you have this pretty amazing 3D printed interior with the seats. Try and get a close-up here. But everything is 3D printed. So nothing on the bottom. The axles are a little longer than they need to be, but I think that this is what this is. It's a handmade, you know, printed the way it was with some detail. These printers are pretty cool, with some details on the back. Moncler, it's embossed, so I think that was actually printed as well. Maybe it's some sort of decal, I'm not really sure, but this was just a hand printed. I'll put it on the turntable so you can see it. So I think a lot of people are seeing this, the comments about it, and you know what, it's fair. You know, it's kind of interesting. I didn't mention that it was a prototype because I didn't talk in the video. So you can see it's actually not, I think it's based on the existing casting that we saw in Fast and Furious. I actually have one. In fact, I can get it out here in a second. I have one with me. I think it's based on this, but this is not exact because it's a 3D print, and then they put the wheels on and so on and so forth. That's all I know. I know that there's this miniature 3D print. I know it's in this massive box. Whether or not this is coming to market as a real model, they wouldn't do it as a prototype. So I know that this wouldn't exist, but it would be done as like the normal G-Wagon casting, maybe with a customized puffer roof on it. And maybe it comes, Mattel Creations is there, so maybe it'll be a Mattel Creations exclusive like RLC. Maybe it'll be, I just don't know. I would assume also this package is a one of one, or I mean, it's a one-off for this particular, I know that. So maybe it's in an acrylic case. I would assume that's how it would come if they did do something like this. But I just don't know. This could be a one-off little thing that they did. I don't know if they did 10 of them. I don't know if they did 1 billion of them. It says super limited, so I'm assuming it's a very small number. Do I feel honored to have it? Oh, you bet I do. This is a really, really cool gift. But they want me to show it, which makes me think if it was just a gift, it's like, hey, we appreciate you, here's this. No, but they specifically want me to show it. So I think there's something up their sleeves here. I just don't know exactly what it is. And I emailed back, I said, thank you, I got it. Anything I need to know? They said, it's on the card. That's all they've told me. So there's kind of a little bit of a wink, because sometimes I ask Mattel, I was like, hey, what's this about? And they'll give me the entire rundown. Hey, we're doing this, we're collaborating with this person or with that person or with this company or that company, and blah, blah, blah. This was, it's all on the card. So your guess is as good as mine. What is my guess? I think we will see this in production as an actual model. Whether or not, you know, like as an acrylic case, I would assume with the Moncler and Mercedes branding, obviously, maybe with this custom roof. That's what I think. Now, that's the first bit of information. The second is, do collectors want it? I don't know. The comments haven't been great in the short. I don't know if they're kind of in, you know, with people not knowing that this is just a 3D print prototype. Maybe sometimes some people think it's ugly. The car itself that Nigo designed is fantastic. But it's a certain aesthetic, right? It's with that Moncler aesthetic, this very kind of fashion forward kind of element that Moncler has, of course, when you're talking about Nigo, and street design. with Moncler and Mercedes. You just know it's going to have this kind of interesting vibe. And I think the car itself is fantastic. And for me, at least, personally, a miniature Hot Wheels of that, I'm all for it. Now, I think the design is fantastic, but others don't. There was, for example, a very mixed reaction to the Daniel Arsham designs. Some people were like, I don't get it. It's just this car with incomplete with holes in it. Other people got the vibe. But that's the thing about art is what you feel about it is what you feel about it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So I think there's an element here that some people will be like, I'm all about it. I want it. It's a must-have if it becomes a model. I think there's others who are like, yeah, give me a break. No way. It's just, some people say it's just a version of the Fast and Furious model. We like what we like. No one has to like it. And so I'm curious what people think about it. It's like, I want it. It'll be an interesting thing, whether I don't like it, but I appreciate it and I would like a replica, or I ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole. It's probably going to be 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks. Who knows? Nonetheless, that is what this is. It's a very cool piece. I think in terms of like adding it to my collection of unique Hot Wheels, oh yeah, it's going in there for sure. I'm going to keep it like this. I think the package is interesting. There's no way this packaging, this is what the packaging will be for the future model, if they do a future model. But I thought, since we're here and I've already talked 11 minutes on it, I might as well go through some of the other fashion collabs that they've done. You already see this one. This was one of the originals. In fact, I opened it and I kind of feel like I shouldn't have. I kind of like, based on everything, this is the Supreme Team Transport they did in the classic blue card. And I love having it loose, but I kind of feel like I would have loved to have it carded too. Maybe one day I'll pony up the 250 or 300 it takes to get one. But this was one of the first collabs that they ever did for fashion, and we'll walk through some of the other ones. So obviously a Supreme hauler and this BMW E30 in Supreme livery, very simple. I really like the chrome wheels on it. I thought that was a very cool collaboration. It's, of all of them, I don't know which one is my favorite, but I'll walk through some of them. They do these, Hot Wheels does these collaborations. Some of them are available at Mattel Creations and they're easier to get. For example, one of the probably the most recent fashion collab they did, this Wrangler design that maybe could have been purchased at a Wrangler website, but you could get it at Mattel Creations. It kind of got a mixed response. It didn't sell out. But this is the Ford Bronco celebrating the anniversary, I think, of Wrangler. And I think it's a very cool design, and it's rainbow kind of design. I think it's I personally like it, but some people did, some people didn't. But that was one that was pretty easy to get, and there was, these, like when I talked about RLC a couple weeks ago, there's an element of design and art to these, and very much they are on brand with these fashion partners that Hot Wheels does. But there, I think, always needs to be kind of a rarity element to it too, which is important. So anyway, I'll put that one over here, and that one really didn't have that for collectors. Some of them are publicly announced and big deals on Mattel Creations. Others maybe are more special editions, kind of given as gifts. But I'll walk through some of them. I actually like these collabs. Hot Wheels is one, Coca-Cola, Barbie, of course, McDonald's. Like, you think about iconic American brands, Hot Wheels is up there. And doing these kind of collaborations, I think, makes a ton of sense. So, where are some of the fashion collabs that we can go through? I think we can start with this one. So here's the one that was more limited. This is the IWC collaboration. Obviously, the model looks familiar. It was done in Team Transport, but this is actually a Zamac version done as a promo piece for IWC that was given out. Not the one with the watch. I don't have that one. That we've seen that one. I think there was one at the convention. This is actually the standard SL 300 SL casting that we've seen in premium, done as a Zamac in the same deco, the IWC deco, but done as a promo piece. This one was actually sent to me by IWC as a gift, one that I truly treasure as well. And this one has been out there. A few people have been out, and I've seen it on eBay for, it wasn't sold publicly. It was just as a promo piece. Contrast that with this one, which I believe you could purchase at the RLC, I think. I'm trying to remember, but it was, or through a Bathing Ape. This is obviously Bape. This is the RLC model done in camo, in that famous Bathing Ape camo. And obviously with the gull wing doors and everything else, this is the RLC one. I think wherever it was sold, it's sold out. And again, mixed response from some collectors. It really is like, either you like it or you don't. I mean, that goes with anything, but you know, these are not necessarily aimed specifically at collectors. They're aimed at, you know, Bape collectors, and, you know, done as promo pieces. And if you're Bape or IWC or, you know, Antisocial Social Club or Supreme, these are big gets doing a collaboration with Hot Wheels. And so I don't see I see why this is a big deal. It's such an iconic brand. Here's Fat Lace. Several years ago, cannot remember as well if this one was sold on Mattel Creations or RLC. I think it was prior to Mattel Creations. It might have been just through Fat Lace. Also done in a very limited number. These aren't numbered, I don't think, but this was one of the best versions. I actually showed this just recently, right, of the T1 bus and of the panel van, done in the black chrome moon discs. I always thought that thing was super cool. I mentioned Antisocial Social Club. This was an exclusive drop to Antisocial Social Club, sold out in seconds, like a lot of their items do. Same thing with Supreme. You had to be really lucky to get it on the site, and you know, you can get them on the secondary market now. You just pay for them. I haven't seen, maybe this is like $250 to $300. Maybe it's more than that. I'm not totally remembering, but this was the M1 Pro car, done as, you know, in a tribute livery with the Get Weird element, which I thought was kind of a cool deal. This one's a really cool car too, when you're looking at all of these designs. We can keep going. Probably the most iconic when you're talking about like these streetwear brands, it's one thing. IWC is big time luxury. You know, Lewis Hamilton, Tom Brady, big time old school Swiss watch company. That's an iconic brand. Moncler is up there. And then, of course, you have Gucci. Here's the Gucci car. I should have brought the cover for this, but I just have it in its acrylic case. But this is the Cadillac Seville. We saw this casting revamped for the Gucci model. Now we've seen it come back to basic and NFT. I don't know if we've seen it in premium since, but this thing is just this. I loved this. I love that they chose this model to do. It's a wild design. It's very much like old school Dynasty era Gucci. I say Dynasty. I know we can always talk. There's probably better references than that, but that's how I think of it. I think this Cadillac is so cool. Then there's others. How about Herschel? I mean, fashion house. Design for sure. Apparel, bags. Obviously, this was the Land Rover Defender 90. I think this one was, you could get through, I think you had to buy it as part of some sort of capsule, I think. It's funny, pursuing these, I bought this, I actually think got this one on eBay. I think this is how I got mine. And I'm almost positive I did, and I felt like it was something that it was selling for like 50 or 60 at the time. And I was like, it's going to go up, and I was right. So I was happy that I bought it when I did. So that's the Land Rover 90 that Hot Wheels did as a collaboration. And then I think there's other interesting collaborations. These are not fashion, but I thought, when we're talking about special edition models that Hot Wheels does, there's the Initial D promo model that was done in Japan. Hot Wheels does not have the Initial D license in the US, therefore we won't see Initial D, at least for now, being marketed in the US. This could only be acquired through Japan and through a promo. I don't even think they could sell it. I think the way the licensing works, it had to be through like getting a subscription is how you to something is how you get this promo. And it's obviously not fashion, but it's a unique piece. And then currently the three carded versions of this special Asian car show, Asian diecast show exclusive that Hot Wheels did. There's three different versions. There's the Malaysia version. This was my friend at Ministry of Diecast acquired this for me at the Art of Speed event. There was the Singapore Diecast Expo that happened just a few weeks ago, and then actually happening right now is IDE in Indonesia. And same car, but three different cards, and there's going to be a few lucky people that actually get all three of these. I just have this one from Art of Speed in Malaysia, but really cool design that Hot Wheels did for this, and I really like how they did the different card art. So they do special items. I guess you could call that a convention model. It probably is. The one other one that's interestingly a prolific collaboration, a fashion collaboration for Hot Wheels. Period correct, auto-based like collaboration, and automotive themed apparel company. Period correct, we know what that means. Term that I should probably use more when in my showcases. But they have done they've done 3 different collaborations and 5 different models with period correct. And you think with Moncler and Gucci and Antisocial Social Club, Supreme, you'd see more, but this has been a pretty prolific and fruitful collaboration. I don't know if we've seen more, but these are the most recent. Launch Rally 037, done in this fantastic deco. Period correct, but there's also elements of classic racing cars, rally cars in this one. That was the Lancia. Released at the same time with a hat was the Ford RS200. Loved this design as well with the Aero Real Riders. I just think this thing is super, super cool. I don't know which one I like better, but just seeing both of them in these really cool decos was already a cool set. Before that, they went more like off-road style, and they did the Land Rover Defender 110. I think this is actually an underrated casting of all things, but it's such a classic, and this one was fantastic in this design. Also period correct. But done in a classic off-road rally style. Move this down a little bit. And then I said I was going to get out the G-Wagon. They did the G-Wagon. So, you know what? Let's just do this. I'll reopen this one up. Pull this out. I'm going to do it off camera. I'll put this one on the turntable for now. It is the period correct G-Wagon. I just want to see what elements. I assume it's very similar. So while that's on the turntable, I'll actually pop this one out of its acrylic. And while we're here, let's have a look. It does look very similar. It looks like they went off the same notes with the original. Yeah, it does. And this is actually a removable piece. I don't know if I can... Yeah. So this has a removable piece. Sometimes it's released without the roof. Sometimes it is. So I would assume that Hot Wheels, if they wanted to do a production version of this, just has to construct a new roof in the Moncler style that Nego did, and they can just add that to this one, right? So I'd assume that's a very doable model for sure. I think there's some elements that are a little different, but who knows? I could see that being production and maybe a little bit different than the 3D prints. So that's kind of cool. Again, you'll have to tell me if you want to see that, if you'd get it if Hot Wheels did it, or if you just said, nah, I'm not interested at all. And, you know, whatever your answer is, the right answer is, you know, whatever your answer is. So I'll put that there. I'll just go ahead and add that here. And then, of course, from that period correct, the other thing we have to, so they've done the Mercedes, the Land Rover, the Lancia, and the Ford, and then there's this one, which is the most desirable. This is probably, of all of these, the most valuable is the period correct 190E Evo, done in a very cool 80s, 90s era deco that wraps the entire car, which I was told by the Mattel team was very difficult to do, considering, you know, they can do the wraps, but you can see the way it would have to be wrapped with the lines totally aligned. Not an easy task, but they were able to get it done for this one, and it's a very cool model, exclusive or not, and one of the treasures of my collection. So this is not new to Hot Wheels. They do these exclusives, they do these collaborations. Some are more rare than others, some are more limited, some are more promotional. But ultimately, and you know, they kind of bring out strong opinions. Some people really want them, really like them. Other people think they're a waste. And like I said, whatever you think is what you think. So you guys tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think about this Moncler collaboration. I'm telling you everything I know, and I'm very curious to see. Maybe we will see them, Mattel Creations, drop this here in the coming days, months, weeks. I have no clue. I kind of hope they do. But let's just see. You guys tell me what you think. I would love comments below. I love seeing what people think about these. Thanks, everybody. Bye.